Morning people. Right, it is Monday morning. It is 7:32 and I was up till about 2:33 o'clock last night looking at my latest passion, which is stock charts and overlaying 3-candle reversals on multiple time frames to see whether they work as well as FX, and they seem to do that even better, possibly even more reliable, because forex for me, all I do is trade charts. Stocks, obviously you've got 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 eyes looking at them on FinTwit, so you've got a massive fundamental analysis to back up the 3-candle reversals and the various trend lines and so on and so forth. Anyway, so I woke up about 10 past 6, maybe even later, opened my charts. 6 o'clock in the morning is when the 4-hour charts on the forex change over. I call it the volatility changeover of the 4-hour. Gold is a different 4-hour changeover. Gold is an hour later, because gold gets closed at night for an hour or two. I can't remember exactly what amount of time, but there is a difference. But having said that, 6 a.m. will still be the volatile time for FX, currencies, whatever you want to call it, will move as a result of that. Possibly, for example, an H4 candle. We're not looking at H4, but if we've got a huge H4 candle that closes at 6 a.m., it's highly likely that they may give us a pullback. We get that. We talk about closes of candles and the impact that can have on price movements, hourly, 15-minute, 30-minute, and so on and so forth, daily, weekly. All of them are critical points. So always be aware of where you are on any of those time frames, as it were, in order to be prepared for movement. Now, I'm finished for the day effectively. I've earned the money. That's how I like to trade, and then the rest of the day I can devote to my own pursuits, as it were, and possibly just charting and so on and so forth. In the old days I used to finish and close the terminal. Now I'm addicted once more to learning. The pound yen chart is here purely because Mike takes the time to draw a load of charts in the morning. I'm constantly pushing sort of your direction that way because he does such a good job and he does it freely. Once again, the FinTwit community pulling together. Now, I'm looking at GJ with a view to what he's drawn on his charts, because I can see clearly this corresponds with my thought processes. We've got clean air above, we've got an ascending trend line on its way here. Apologies for all of this mess on here and you can't see much. It's because I am a scalper. I go for 5 or 10 pips and that's me done. But when you look at this chart, you can see that firstly and predominantly the RSI. I always look to see what the RSI is telling me. It is telling me I do not want to go short. Any shorts are short term. Then you can draw a few horizontal levels on here. H4 high, we'd broken effectively a 3-candle reversal type pattern with the closes of these candles, so we are above resistance with the potential to test as support and then potentially take off in the direction of the momentum and the longer term trend. So the simplest way to trade this, and that is the whole point of today's video, is just to mark your levels on your charts and wait for the RSI to come into alignment. If you'd have been here, it would have been sensible just to wait patiently for a few hours, and then when the RSI turns green, and you start to get 3 candle reversals, and this is a 3 candle reversal short. So ideally, in order for this this sideways move or attacking move to the upside to be over, you need a 3 candle reversal high. And as you can see, when we got the 3 candle reversal, we also got the bust, pullback, break and close above the bust level. Bust is always before the pullback, of course. Bust up, pullback, break and close. So the two corresponded, and then with very little drawdown. And the reason you have very little drawdown is because this was where all the buyers and sellers were battling about trying to, and I just believe it's the algos. The algos are doing their stuff here. They're flushing out the markets. Big old move. Pullback is minuscule because there's just no selling power left. They've flushed it out. And but in order to, you don't have to wait for this 3 candle reversal. You can use the lower time frames to actually and along with the RSI histo to attack that reversal level. I talk about this a lot, but you know, you need to be aware that what's going on the higher time frames in order not to get caught up in this chop. So the safest way to do it is just wait for 3 or 4 hours and just let the algos do their stuff. And you know, there will always be a reason that the market is moving sideways. It might be the run up to the American Open, it might be the run up to the 230 stock market open, it might be the run up to news. They will move price, they tend to move price fast during the London Frankfurt session, as you can see here. Then when they've done all their messing around, they will start to let the algos run. A very important webinar I watched about 12-13 years ago when I was a relative noob was a professional trader talking about the algorithms. And in those days he would say, yeah, 10 o'clock comes in the morning, they flick the algorithm switch back on, then they get up to 1:30, 2 o'clock, they flick it off and the big boys come in and play. And then, you know, when they've finished playing again at the London and the stock market open, say 3 in the afternoon, they flick it back on again. And you know, it was a profound thing for me to hear a you know, an hour-long, 2-hour-long webinar interview with a guy saying that about algorithms. You know, they're going to change it all the time. Maybe they don't switch it on and off now, it's just on all the time, whatever. You know, it doesn't matter what physically happens, it's just whatever makes you comfortable to trade. So back to this, just really chilling out, watching the 3 candle reversals happen, 30-minute, 15-minute. You know, they tell a story of the accumulation distribution sideways part of the market. We're still in the middle of well, it's 7:41 precisely. We're in the throes of the Frankfurt and London volatility, so anything can happen. And then potentially, say 9-10 o'clock, we may well start to move in a trending, you know, very tiny little moves, but it may well start to go in the direction we require. And the way we will know that is 3 candle reversals to the long side, because I'm looking for longs, pullback and continuation. And the beautiful, for me, RSI histo just tells us everything we want to know. We can't trade against it. We can't trade against it. Think about that. So H4 is telling us we should be looking for longs. All that was a pullback, and that was a bust, pullback, break and close. Look what happens, price absolutely took off. So this is now a pullback potential. We have a ton. The other thing I wanted to say is we've got a ton of stuff below us. You know, I can mess up this chart a little bit. We've got all that resistance, which will potentially act as support. We've got this resistance here that will potentially act as support. You know, anywhere where you've got a little cluster of different coloured candles mean that it's a battleground. We've got all of this, which acted as support here. So if I'm thinking of going short, which I'm not, I have got to get through all of that rubbish there. If I'm thinking of going long, what's above me? One area here, which is already tested, and then relatively, by the looks of it, clear air above. By comparison to that, it's a absolute dream. There you go, nice old level that I'd already drawn in over there, a weekly high. So great big gap up to that weekly high. Here's the problem area here as well. We could put a flip on there. This is just one chart. There's thousands, and then there's all those stock charts that I talk about as well. So yeah, for some reason it's not drawing my flip in there. So that is an area that's been broken. You can see a congestion area by price here. This was a pullback, then we've got more jiggery pokery, and then clear air once we get above. So that's it. That's what I do. That's how I wait for stuff. That's the bigger picture, and just follow the lead of the RSI histo and the higher time frame candles. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great week. And thank you, Mike, for your charts.